Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jimmy, and today we'll take a look at Home Up here in 2025 on Samsung One UI 7. Now, there are so many things that you can do when it comes down to Home Up now. What you're able to do is you can change how you want your animations to look and feel, how fast, how slow, where you want them to kind of come in at or open up or close. Anything and everything goes now. Also, even when it comes down to your home screen. So this is DIY. Basically, it's completely free form. You're able to move anything and everything where you want them to go, slant them, make them bigger, make them smaller. You're also able to, if you wanted to, create like a little honeycomb here. So what I did here was, you can see what I created pretty much with all these different lines. I kind of tried to make them line up a little bit. And this is where, if you want, again, complete and total control. So even if I want to have a little application go behind another one, or if I wanted to bring this one towards the top or bring this one towards the bottom, whatever I want to do, you are able to put these things anywhere and everywhere. And it's actually super fun to play with. So if you ever want to make these things bigger, make them smaller, rotate them, it doesn't matter if it's an app, a folder, or a widget, you can do anything you want. So I do want to show you one thing before I show you where you can get this thing downloaded, because I want to give you like a top level of what you can do. All you have to do is go inside of your home screen settings by pressing anywhere on the screen that is empty. And you have this option here called More Customization. So this is not sitting in Good Lock. This is sitting inside of your home screen settings. This is where you can make changes to your home screen. You can also back up some of the little things that you create. So if you create another one like tomorrow and your home screens look completely different, you can actually back them up so you can switch between the two. You can change how your task changer looks. The gestures, which basically means if I want to change my entire, gesture for all of my animations, I can actually go down here and do like an advanced tuning. So there's a lot of things that you can do, and how stiff you want it to go, how much of like a bounce that you want it to have, and all that, good stuff. So if I was to move right on back again, you also are able to change how your edge panels work, and also your share manager screen looks. So when you tap on share, what do you really want it to show? So first, let me show you where you can get this downloaded, because it's not a part of Good Lock just yet. Now, even though Good Lock had a full entire redesign, so I will actually make another video talking about some of the cool things you can do inside of Good Lock, so you can see, how much different this is. So a couple things that I don't really see here is I don't see Lock Star, and I also don't see Home Up, which I literally just downloaded. You can also change some of these with a little bit of groupings if you want the, the makeup stuff, the life up, anything dealing with your clock, extensions. This is some of the stuff that you have set up. So this is some of the things that I changed my settings of via some of these modules. So we'll actually cover Good Lock later on. Where you can get this one downloaded is just to make it simple, I will place this link below the video inside of the description. This is the version you're looking for, the 16.0.0056. This is for Android 15. Pretty much you can scroll down and you can take a look at all the other versions as well and when these have been released. So the one that we have right now is Home Up. This is the latest one, and you can see that it was released on February 4th. So this right here is the one that you want to get downloaded. So you can just tap on this, and then you find the download button for it. Now, just make sure you don't, hit on this little install button, because this one is talking about Easy Home. You want to make sure that you actually download the APK that you were technically looking for. But this is the link I'll place below the video inside the description. Once you get it installed, this is where you press and hold on the screen anywhere that's empty. You go inside of settings and you go right here. So this is where Home Up is located. And again, like I said from before, it is not inside of Good Lock. So if you downloaded it, couldn't find it, even if you search for the application itself, it's because it's a part of your home screen settings. Now, let's take a look at the home screen. So when it comes down to the home screen, you have like app icon settings. So you can actually make your icons bigger, smaller. You can also show the item label on the home screen and the app screen. So this was something that you could already do in Samsung One UI 7. So that's not really a huge deal. But when you are using this one, you kind of want to turn on your, app icons. You also have background blur control. So when you open up pretty much any other application, or you open up an app tray or something like that, you can actually change how much of a blur your background image is. But I will let you know, at least for me, I couldn't find anything where there's much of a change that this did, because no matter what I did, if I went inside my application tray or a folder, everything was completely blurred anyways. So I don't really see a big use for that. You also have loop pages. So if you want your pages to completely loop, We'll turn that on and I'll show that in just 1 second. And you also have this option here for Finder access. So I'm going to show you both of these ones here because, anytime that you make a change, you always have to go through the settings again to get back in. So first off, when it comes down over into the Finder, if I was to swipe down, here's the Finder immediately. So my notifications that would normally come down or the settings that would come down is now going to be Finder. Now, if you are using the option for loop pages, it will not work if you have your media page on over here. So if you were to turn that off and then you wanted to, let's see, I got to get this right back up there. People steal my videos all the time, so I at least have to have something on the screen that shows where this video is from. Anyways, now that you turned on loop pages, you can kind of swipe anywhere you want to go, left and right, and all your pages will loop. So just remember, no matter how many pages you have to make sure you turn this off here, which could be your Google Discover or Samsung News. Because once you have basically, if you have it on, it's just going to go there. And if I swipe again, it's not going to loop. It's not looping my home pages because you have this additional page that's right up over here. So that is just a couple things you're able to do. You got Finder and also loop pages. So now what we're going to do is head back over inside settings, go back over here, because the reason why is that this right here is not acting as its own application. So I can't just swipe up with recent application to go right back to this page, which is also another reason why you can't find it. So pretty much loop pages, I'm going to turn that one off. So for me, I do like the fact that it'll stop and I don't need the Finder access because if I just open up my application tray anyways, it's just going to be right there. This is where you have your DIY home screen, and all you have to do is just literally just turn this thing on. Once you turn it on, then what will happen is when you're at your home screen, all you do is you press and hold anywhere that's empty, and then here's your DIY home. Anything that you want to do with any of these little icons and such, you're able to do. So if I tap on this one, I can make it bigger, smaller. Let's see if I move it over this way. Let's see. So for this one, I can't make it as big. It kind of shows you the length you can go, but I can diagonalize it. For this one, I can also make it big, and this is pretty much as big as it can go. If you have multiple things that are selected, then you're going to edit both of them, which is exactly what I just did here. So however, whatever size you want it to be, looks like I got to bring this one down a little bit more. So yeah, you have full control of anything and everything that you would want to do. So as you can tell here, I created whatever angle I wanted. I have this one even diagonaled, and I'll actually change that later on. I have all my widgets kind of diagonalized. I even threw in a little icon here. And as I've shown from before, if you are to edit this one, you can change it if you want it to kind of overlap or underlap. So again, if you go right there, you have your up and your down arrow to choose, how you want it to kind of show on the screen. So literally anything and everything goes when it comes down to now creating your home screen. So you go back in settings, go back to more customization. Here we are back to home up. So going back over inside a home screen, just because there's a lot you can do, favorites. That means that it's the applications on the bottom. So right now my max I can have is 5. If you wanted to, you can have more applications down over there. It looks like 9. So 9 will be the maximum for applications to be on the very bottom. So you can just play with this one. I think you kind of get the gist. Any application I want on the bottom, I can now go up to 9 applications. You also have move your apps button. Here is your apps list column. So as I showed at the very beginning of this video, you can change your app tray on how many columns you want it to show. So now it's up to 7. At the very beginning of this video, it was at 6. By default, it's at 5. So whatever floats your boat, whatever makes it the most simple and easy of how you want your application tray to look. This is where you can choose if you want 4, 5, 6, or 7. So I'm going to go back to 6, just so it kind of looks a little different. And you do the same thing with folders. So your folder screen grid right now is 4x4. You can make it larger or smaller. The folder icon grid. So when you look at your icon of the folder on the screen, how many do you want it to show? 3x3 or 4x3? You also have pop-up folder. You even have large folder. So if you wanted to create a large folder, you can do a large folder. For pop-up folder, when you open it up, how big do you want it to be? Small, medium, large. So there's a few things I'm not going to play with too much because I want you to kind of play around with it and, see what all you could do, because I don't want to make this video 30 minutes long. But with the explanation and kind of showing a few things of what you're able to do, and I'm at least just showing you what I did, there's so much you can do. So all of this right here is for home screen. Basically dealing with your app screen list, your home screens, the hot seat basically, which is your applications on the bottom, your app icons settings. So a lot of stuff dealing with the home screen. Now, when it comes down to backup and restore, I have a couple of them. The first one that I ever created, there was actually nothing set up. So if I tap this, it'll go to pretty much nothing, which I've done once, and I had to restart my phone for it to go back to something else. So when you do create one where you have everything all set up, you can actually just hit on immediate. So that means that I immediately just saved my setup that I just created, and I'm just going based off of the date and the time. So you can switch between whatever layout you want. So maybe you have like a layout for a Monday. Maybe you have a layout for a Tuesday, whatever you want. Maybe you have the one that's very clean and the other one that's very busy. Maybe you have like the weekday home screens and the weekend home screens, whatever you want. You can actually create them, hit immediate for the save, and then now you have some of your saves. And you can have up to 20 saves. So this way, no matter what you do, it's all backed up. Now, I'll let you know this too. If you ever make changes and then you decide, I don't want to use Home Up anymore, you turn it off and you go right back home and everything is right back to the way it was. So this is the way that my home screen was, and I just made small little adjustments when it comes down to Home Up. So let's go right back inside, go back inside settings, go back to more customizations. And so for this one, I do want to turn this right back on. And now that we have turned it on, you can see that it's going to pretty much take a second for it to load everything. Let's see. So what you saw there for a quick second was a little bit of a mishap, or I guess a little bug, which is probably why Home Up is not a part of GoodLock right now, is because when I went from my normal home screen back to a Home Up, it kind of jumbled everything. It created a whole bunch of home screens I didn't need. But pretty much all I had to do was I went right back inside of my settings right over here. I tapped on more customizations, and this is where it's important to create backups, because this one is still an APK, not fully a part of GoodLock, but still good to have your backups right here. And I just selected this one and everything went right back to normal. So that is a perfect example of why you should have backup and restore, so you can restore the way your phone looked. Now we'll head over into Task Changer. For Task Changer, you can have it like as a grid, you can have it as a vertical list, you can have it as slim. Once you select it, you can now, take a look at what it exactly looks like. So let's just open up a couple more applications here. So we got Instagram, we have Twitter. Let's go over here. Let's open up YouTube. And so now what's going to happen is when I take a look at my recent applications, it's going to look like that. And let's go right back inside. So again, I'm trying to go through every one of these different categories to kind of show you what you can do. But if you're familiar with Task Changer, yeah, you have all these different options here. You have vertical list, slim list. You also have the tilt stack, which I kind of like this one. You can also make them mini if you want them to show smaller. So they're still going to be in this little stack, but they're just half the size. So they're right down here where your thumb would be. You can take a look and you can turn on, app label, search bar, however you want it to look when it comes down to your Task Changer. Here is your gesture settings. So this is where you can have a lot of fun with how your animation looks. So for example, right now, if you tap on this one here and you go to Classic, so now that you have it on Classic, if you were to open up an application, it's going to open up and close right back to where it was. Again, right over here, you open it up and then close right back to where it was. Now, if you wanted to go through and change the way you want it to look, maybe you wanted to start at a different point, end at a different point, have a little bit of flair or pizzazz or go slower, was with the home gesture one. I went to, I believe it was Sweet. And this is one that should be a little bit slower. And you can see right there, it was already slower. So if I open this up, close down, it's slow. It slowly kind of comes right back in and then it goes to its spot. Same here, it kind of comes up and it comes down. So you can see what you're able to do when it comes down over into some of your animations. Again, settings, more customizations, and we'll go right back inside of gestures one more time. Now, this is where if you want, you can do advanced tuning and you can do like detailed stuff. So this is where you could change the horizontal portion of it, where you kind of want it to come in at, where you want it to close at. You also have the stiffness, pretty much the higher value, the faster it moves. So if you want them to go slower, you can bring those slower. Then you also have friction. So the higher value, the faster it stops. Bring this on down. So you can see a little bit of a bounce right there. If I bring it all the way up, it's just going to almost like halt. So then down over here, you have dampening. So it kind of depends on how much of a, it depends on how fast you want your phone to move. So this is like giving you bounces of boom, bounce, boom, bounce, boom, bounce. But if you want this one, so it's saying vibrate. So if you want this one to just go straight immediately, open and shut, open and shut, open and shut. You also have stiffness. It kind of depends on the shrinkage Oh, this is so much fun. You also have tracking position. The higher the value, the more it targets the bottom of the icon. So it kind of depends on where you want it to kind of go for that one. Wallpaper. So this one's actually pretty fun. So how much, of a scale do you want it to do for, how big or how small it goes? Also the duration. So this is much quicker. You're able to make it super fast if you want to. So however you want it to look, if you want it to be elegant, if you want it to be fast, if you want it to be like electric, whatever the case, yeah, here is your scale when it comes down to changing the max scale, when it comes down to like your animations. So really anything and everything that you ever want to do, you can have a full, change of it. So let's just kind of see what happens with mine. Oh, mine went like down and up, and it's actually pretty quick too. So it goes like down and up. So you can change fully the animation of your device. Now, I'm not too big into that animation type stuff. I know other people are, which is what I was trying to talk about from before, where people are like into open and close, open and close, open and close. So they might actually like this. You also have your edge panel. And when it comes down to the edge panel, so pretty much you can show more images or show more icons or items. And for this one, you can actually scroll through the recent apps to see more recent applications on the side. So, if I was to open up, some of these applications, which I should have a few of them already open. Let's see here, moving around, taking a look at some of these. So pretty much now when I open this up, I should be able to scroll up and down and actually see more. And I don't see where there was more. Earlier I did. So before, like I said from before, there could be small little bugs with this one. Some of these, recent applications that are sitting here, there should be something going on right here where I'm scrolling up and down. So I don't know if I have this one set up correctly. So what I'm actually going to do is head right back over inside of settings. Let's see if there's anything that I missed right now, because I thought I saw it move up and down a little bit when it comes down to it. So if we go inside of the edge panel, let's see here. So instead of having that one, maybe if I have that one off, who knows, maybe I'll take that off too as well. Unless if I have to restart my phone, I don't know. But you should be able to scroll up and down on your applications right here. So let's see if there's even any other settings inside of here that I'm kind of missing, because this is the apps icon that we were showing from before. So don't see anything changing right there. So this is, again, probably why it's not officially a part of HomeUp and it's still just a APK, but you can still play around with a whole bunch of stuff. So worst case scenario, if you do restart your phone, maybe some of these will work. But I don't think I need to do that because you kind of get what is happening here. So you can hold so much more items over here, and you can also scroll over here when it comes down to the recent application area. And I thought that I also had that one turned on. So for now, I'm just gonna go through, turn this one off. I'm also gonna turn that off, and now all my animations is right back to where they were from before. So again, if you make any changes, you can turn it off and it goes back to normal stock. And then here is your share manager. So for this one, it kind of depends on what you want it to show when you want to share something. So if you want to enable this, it's going to show you some direct shares. Also, you can choose who you want it to be sent to. So if there's people in messages or messengers that you would like to have always pop up when you create, like, let's say a screenshot, then those will pop up when you hit on the share button. So there's a lot of really cool things you can do now with HomeUp with Samsung One UI 7 here in 2025. So it's pretty much going to be your galaxy, your way. That's pretty much the wording of Good Lock. And don't forget, if you ever want to go back, you just turn this off right here. So once I tap on this icon, it's going to take me right back to my normal home screen that I have created. So that was pretty much everything that I wanted to share with you. Now, maybe I could have spent a little bit more time on this, but again, I don't want to spend more than 30 minutes on it. I want you guys to also play around with it. So I gave you the link for HomeUp if you want the APK. Just make sure that you have Samsung One UI 7, so you're basically running Android 15. So I would suggest to put this on your Samsung Galaxy S25 device. And then you're able to play with all these different categories. Change everything with your home screen. You can back up and restore anything that you create. Change your task changer, your gesture settings, and a lot of your animations, edge panel, and share manager. Now, when we were playing with all the gestures and the animations, there are actually a few additional things that you can do, but I feel like a lot of what you'll play with is probably going to be just the animation stuff on the very top. Again, another way for you to kind of download this and play with it. And also discover a little bit for yourself. So hopefully you guys have appreciated this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe on the very bottom left-hand side. And if you like this video, then more than likely you'll also like this video. And I'll see you guys later.